This is on a 1989 Harley-Davidson Sportster, and I just want to point out something. You know, when you drain the oil, normally you drain it out right here. You just unscrew this, take the hose off, and you know, you put the hose back on. Sometimes these hoses will leak a little bit because you keep taking them off and putting them on. I don't like doing it that way, and there's a reason, and I'll explain what it is. Okay, on the oil bag itself, there's a little stand-up pipe in here, like where it drains out the bottom, and that pipe sticks out up from the bottom about that much. It's not much, but that's where the dirtiest oil is. So what I'll do, instead of draining it out, because it only drains from the top of that pipe and doesn't get the very last bit of oil out, what I'll do is I'm going to take the dipstick out. I'll either use this, which is suction gun, right? Or I like this one better. It's just sits in here, and you put it in the oil bag, right? And you just pump it out, and you can pump out that last half inch of oil. That's important because I think that's the dirtiest part of the oil, and you're pumping it out right from the bottom, and it goes right into the container, you know, and you get it all out. It's a lot neater that way. I don't know, I don't see anybody doing this, so it's a lot simpler. That's all I gotta say. Much simpler. It just changes this oil too. Now, one of my other earlier videos, I mentioned about I had like 1030 oil in there, and I said, hey, wait a minute, I found a 50 weight, so I got rid of the 1030, just ran it for a little bit with some Marble Mist oil, cleaned it all out. But you should be running 50 weight, not 2050 in a Harley, unless it's like really cold out. I mean, if it's like 60, 70, 80 degrees, you run 50 weight, maybe even 60 weight. What I do on a transmission is this takes a pint and a half, so it takes 3/4 of this quart bottle. You know, I put a little bit of this stuff. I'm the only one that does it, but it helps get the gears like butter, especially like when you're stopped in neutral. I'll put a little bit of this. It's door lube, just like 2 ounces. That's it, not much. Door lube for transmissions, automatic transmissions. I know I never heard anybody doing this, but the way the bike shifts, it's like night and day. Yeah, and typically, I don't know how common this breaks, but this is inside the Sportster transmission. I picked up another one. I bought 2 of these when the thing broke because I had to take the whole transmission out just to get at this little part that goes on a shift mechanism. And I've had this thing for like 30 years and it never broke. But, you know, to tell you the truth, since I've been using a couple ounces of this stuff in it, and I haven't been using the bike admittedly for some years, but since using a couple ounces of this stuff in it, it shifts smooth as butter. And like if you're at a light and you want to catch neutral, no problem. So I think there's a lot less strain on this part. If you notice, I think it's like going from second to third is really, really hard. It's probably this part is broke. I don't know what it's called, but it's on top of the shifter mechanism. But you got to take the whole transmission to get at it. It's kind of a pain in the ass just to get that little part out. So a little preventive maintenance. Stuff works in my experience. So just passing it on. I've never seen anybody pass on that tip before. Yeah, I want to point out on these plugs here, I never bought the special tool for it. I actually wound up using this, and this just sits in here like this. You just put it in there like that, and you turn it, and you can loosen it and tighten it, and you got a handle on it. I've just been using this all the time. Now the other thing is, when you reinstall this, put some anti-seize on it. Or a lot of times I don't even use the anti-seize because I'll use that for the bolts on aluminum, but this thing I'll use just some heavy grease, and it makes it a lot easier to come out. Also, when you're putting it in, the heavy grease will make sure you're turning this in deep enough, far enough, that it's making contact with the O-ring that's in there to make a good seal, so you don't want any leaks. That's another thing. So you'll find it'll be a lot easier to come out the next time you pull it out too with some grease on there. It's just an important tip.